What's going on, everybody? Welcome to M3 Gaming Podcast, Episode 7, where Jeff and I run down everything gaming-related this week, including Shawn leaving Sony and no DLC for Red Dead and a whole lot more. So let's jump into it. What's up, buddy?
Hey, buddy. Not a lot. Just playing Shadowkeep since that dropped on Tuesday.
I know, new Shadowkeep dropping. I haven't hardly talked to you.
I know. That's what happens. I'm sure I warned you about that.
No, you didn't. And I've been playing Last of Us, so...
Yeah, getting all caught back up for the release. Was it
I am
November,
so
right?
excited. No, I wish it was November.
When is it?
February 21st.
Dude, there's so many games coming out. It's so hard
From
to keep up with
now
schedule.
until then, yes, there is.
Yeah, there's a lot. I think after that, it's kind of a dry spell for until May.
Probably.
Yeah.
Then there's always like that 2 to 3 month dry spell, or where there's really nothing coming out. No, and I really I forgot how much I enjoyed that game. Just so many parts of it just hit. Ashley Johnson, who plays Ellie, which I didn't realize was the same girl from Growing Pains. If you ever watched that.
Which one? Oh, the girl.
She was the little kid, the little curly head.
Yeah.
Kid. Yeah.
Okay.
So she's the one that plays Ellie.
Wow.
And you also may know her because you're a big Marvel fan.
She was in the Avengers.
She was in the Avengers.
Oh,
she was the waitress.
And she was also in Captain America: First Avenger at some point. So,
yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Outside from the story from that game, I think my second favorite thing about that game is Troy Baker's performance. The voices that man can do is phenomenal.
That's why him and Nolan North are the top two in the entire. Them two and wow, that sounded really country. Those two and Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill. Those are like the four best well-known voice actors. And Troy Baker murders it in anything he does,
and he really does. Everything from I was about to say BioWare, but BioShock, excuse me. From BioShock to Borderlands to Uncharted to Last of Us. But no, it was super cool. I'd watched an interview with him about a week ago of him doing, like, they were asking him, like, okay, we're going to do a set of 10 questions and we want you to answer them in 10 different voices that you voiced over the years. And then one of the questions got to Joel, and it's just so weird seeing his face and then watching him do that voice. He's so cool. It's
like, have you ever seen the interview with the guy that does Arthur Morgan's voice in Red Dead 2?
No,
I think he's British or Australian. It was so
amazing how they can change their accents like that.
He's like, oh, but and then just all of a sudden, come on, Dutch. It was just such a huge turn, which is really cool. The talent, I think voice talent is one of the most amazing things to be able to do.
But no, I finally finished that up. It took me a few days, but I really forgot how much I enjoyed that story.
Is it still translate as well as it did like the day you played? Is it still like as engaging?
Especially since I couldn't remember so much of what had happened since it's been so many years since I played it. And then now to be able to look and be able to relate so many of those things to what is coming. Like I learned that shivs are no longer going to be a thing in the second one.
Really?
She's going to have her own knife now. So you would have to craft shivs in order to kill the clickers. But instead of doing that now, she's going to have her own knife that you can kill any clicker with. They've just made clickers a lot harder to sneak up on.
Okay. So they've evolved.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Over the last however many years is in between. Is it doing a real life like time jump, or is it like do you know, for the next one?
You know what? I'm sure that information's out there, but I honestly haven't even looked that far into it just yet.
That's fine. I just thought about that. So
I know there are quite a few videos online, especially like Kind of Funny podcast, What's Good Games podcast, and a couple of other ones out there where they actually got to go and play the first couple of hours of The Last of Us Part 2.
Oh, cool.
So I know Greg Miller, he talked about it. He talked about it for about 2 hours of, his experience being able to play it. Andrea Renee and a couple of other guys that I know, their podcast, they got to sit down and travel and go play it and said that they really, really enjoyed it. I'm just ready to see it all put together. I think it's going to be great.
Right. It looks fantastic. Everything that they showed on so far, because that's all in game, like the cinematic stuff's in game footage.
Yeah,
right?
It was all PS4 Pro captured in game. Yeah,
and it looks really, really good.
Yep, and you got to play. You've been playing Shadowkeep all week.
I have that. The feels, man.
But we will definitely get into more of that later. I think we're going to dedicate a whole episode to Shadowkeep review since we did our Shadowkeep preview.
Yep.
But speaking about Sony opens up PS4 cross-platform multiplayer access to all developers. From Chris Holt over at Engadget. Fortnite and Rocket League were among the first to add it through a beta. The console game world is about to get a lot more open. For a long time, Sony was resistant to let a lot of people play the PS4 games with their friends and other platforms. It cracked open that door with crossplay beta for Fortnite a little over a year ago, and now it's allowing all developers to make use of the cross-platform capabilities. Over the last 12 months, games such as Rocket League, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, Dauntless, Paladins, Smite, and Realm Royale have enabled PS4 crossplay with other consoles. Xbox One and PC gamers will be able to face off against their PS4 buddies in Call of Duty Modern Warfare later this month. Some other games, including Disc Jam, Valkyrie, Final Fantasy XIV, and Street Fighter V, let PS4 and PC gamers play those titles with each other. Sony didn't have a splashy announcement about bringing crossplay out of beta. It revealed the news and almost an on-side in a Wired story about its cloud gaming ambitions. A number of other major titles offer cross-platform play between non-PS4 platforms, notably including Minecraft, Roblox. So it'll be interesting to see which developers embrace Sony's newfound openness. Dun dun dun. What you think?
Good move. From a business standpoint, it's going to be tough for the developers and things like that. But this is going to kind of go back to the Sony Disney thing with Spider-Man. I know it's not a video game, but it's still the same idea, is that it's not necessarily about the money that the company or the developers or publishers are going to make, but it's about the service to the fans and character development and stuff like that. Still translates to video games and keeping the player base happy and making things available, whether or not you're going to profit off of it or not, because the more people you bring in, the more opportunity you have to make more money that way, I guess. Is kind of the key. But
yeah.
And this will get rid of exclusives probably, which is...
No, I think it's a great idea. There's so many games for so long that, and a lot of times back in the day it was Call of Duty, where I wanted to play, but somebody else had it on a different console and so on and so forth. And I think, that's going to keep people from having to not buy, two separate games for, your game for every single console.
Right. Or having to buy a console just for one game.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Which is great because I do that now and it sucks.
But I can't tell you how many times I met somebody that let's say for Destiny, for instance, plays Destiny. They're super cool people. I want to play with them. And I can't because
they're on Xbox or PC. Right.
This is going to kind of cross that bridge, I think.
Is there a game you play now that you would like to see it on, that it's not on?
On like a different console?
No, cross-platform.
Oh, I mean, Destiny, obviously. I mean, the player base is huge on all three platforms. Mm-hmm. But just to be able to see all that combined, it's going to overload the hell out of the servers, but it's...
emergency maintenance.
Right, yeah. You get put in a loading queue for hours. We'll talk about that on the Destiny episode, but it's that would be good. I mean, really anything that has a online service, right? So new Ghost Recon,
huge multiplayer, right?
Yeah, like the new Ghost Recon that just came out, that's got a huge server.
That would be really, really good.
Yeah, anything that you can team up with your buddies with, really, Borderlands and anything that has an online component to it.
How long do you think it will be before it's normalized, as that's something that's just
That's if it happens, though.
No.
It's years. I mean,
no.
They just did cross save with Destiny, so they're starting to kind of implement it in smaller degrees. But before it's an overarching thing, it's going to be years. Probably I give it 5 years.
For me personally, I think I would have rather have seen cross play than cross save on Destiny.
Okay, so that's kind of a tough one there too, because the characters that you were playing with on Xbox or PlayStation, right? And then you just spent $1,600 on a gaming rig, and now you want to pull it all over. Makes sense to me, rather than being able to play. But I mean, that's 50-50.
Right.
Yeah, I would be okay with either.
And I am definitely okay with either. For me personally, I would have wanted this, but as opposed to someone who, just came into some money or has been saving up and it just built a $1,600 gaming PC and you know they want to be able to play it. So yeah, so it'll definitely be different from them. But no, you're right.
So the world's changing in the realm of video games, and it's exciting.
It is, and I'm so ready for next year's E3.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Speaking of, Detroit Become Human reaches a new big sales milestone, and the PC version is still to come by Eddie McCook. Fucking episode just on how badly I pronounce these people's names wrong.
Macaque.
No, we're just gonna go with Macaque. Sorry, buddy. From GameSpot. The latest game from developer Quantic Dreams is a big success. Detroit Become Human, which was originally released in May of 2018, has now passed 3 million copies sold. Quantic Dreams announced on Twitter that the game has hit 3.2 million copies on PS4 globally. This is just the latest sales milestone for Detroit. In December 2019, publisher Sony announced that the game had reached 2 million copies sold. We are now delighted. This is a tweet from Quantic. We are now delighted to announce that Detroit Become Human has now sold in excess of 3 million units on PS4 worldwide. Sales of Detroit are expected to continue to grow as the game is scheduled to launch on PC later this year. The game is releasing as a timed exclusive for an Epic's Game Store. Quantic Dreams worked with Sony for a long time on its big games, including Heavy Rain, Beyond Two Souls, and Detroit. But the company is going multi-platform for its next release. Heavy Rain was released on PC in June, while Beyond Two Souls came out for PC in July. Like Detroit, both titles are exclusive to the Epic Game Store through a timed exclusivity deal between Epic and Quantic. What you think?
So, question. It said 3 million sales, right? 3.2 million in sales. Does that include the digital download, like the free downloads, or is that like actual purchase sales, like cash exchange?
So it doesn't say. It just says had passed 3 million copies sold. On PS4 globally.
All right, so I got two theories on that. So one, they're accounting for all the downloads that happened during its time as a free download game for PS Plus.
Right.
Or that PS Plus time frame, people downloaded it, told their friends, and then they went out and bought it when it wasn't free anymore. So that's my two theories on that. I could be wrong, but good for them. It's a fun game.
So here's where here's where that part gets a little confusing, because right here in the first part it says was released in May 2018, has now passed 3 million copies sold on PS4. But then you go to the next paragraph, it says this is just the latest sales milestone for Detroit. In 2019, Sony announced that the game May 2018 passed 3 million copies sold. In 2019, the game had reached 2 million copies sold. That's a typo.
Yeah, that's a big typo.
Yeah.
So between 2018 and 2019, they had 1 million returns.
That doesn't... So we'll just go with their tweet, which happened October 3rd, 2019. 3 million units on PS4 worldwide. So see, that's where it takes out on and sold.
They fix themselves at the end.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Have you ever played that game?
No, I have not played that game. I played Heavy Rain, and I played Beyond Two Souls, and I loved both of them. I thought they both had amazing stories.
Heavy Rain is intense, man.
Yeah, no, definitely Heavy Rain.
And I played that on like PS3.
Yes.
Or Xbox 360 or something. No, I'm stupid. Yeah, it's PS3. I'm sorry. Had a brain fart.
So that was the one where his family died or his son died.
Yeah. Like he was there in a mall, and then there was gone or something, and
right,
kidnapped. It's weird. You played like 4 or 5 different people in that game.
You did, and you got so many different endings. And the thing about that game was I loved my ending so much, and I was happy with it. I never played it again. Yeah. I stopped right there. I was like, okay, I'm cool with this. This is how I want my story to end.
Right.
But no, I loved both of those games.
And that's what's really cool about Detroit, is because the story is so good that the whole time you're playing it, it's like watching a movie. Or like I would watch this game in theaters, depending on because it has multiple endings. My ending was pretty solid. I liked it, but I want to go back and make some different choices and kind of.
Isn't there a part in the game where you can go and see what choices you made so you don't make those same choices?
There's like a timeline. Yeah, I don't know if you can go back and check it again, like on a different story. I haven't tried that yet. I'd be willing to do it though as soon as I get some free time.
Oh yeah. But no, I think that's pretty cool. I don't remember or not if I downloaded it and put it in my library from the time that it was free. I'll just have to go back and check it. I'm in my week off, so I have the next 9 days off.
Hell yeah,
so
dude.
I'm going to do nothing but play games.
So you'll be 960 in Shadowkeep by in the middle of the week or so.
Isn't that like the highest cap right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so 960 is like the top, and then you get power boosts from the artifact. So
From Rick Cactus, you know what he was saying? He said he's the highest light level in the world.
Rick Kakalaki, yeah, and he was like what 959 or something.
No,
Whatever.
that I'm sorry, that doesn't make any sense to me.
Get out of here.
Rockstar currently has no plans for Red Dead Redemption 2 single player DLC. From Zach Sweezen. There we go. Rockstar has confirmed in an interview with VG247 that they have no current plans to release DLC for Red Dead Redemption 2 single-player mode. Rockstar will instead be working on expanding the game's multiplayer mode, Red Dead Online 2. During an interview with Rockstar developers by VG247, lead online production associate Katie Pica, Pika, explained that Rockstar is focused on multiplayer at the moment. We're 100% focused on online right now because, like I said, there's just so much to do, and we're just hoping to bring everything that a player can love about single player into the online world and fleshed out, explained Pika. Another Rockstar developer, Tarek Hamad, told VG247 that the team is working on Red Dead Online wants multiplayer game to match the world of the single-player campaign by adding activities, events, and characters. The comments came as part of a longer interview with Rockstar developer about Red Dead Online. For many fans, this will be disappointing news. Previous Rockstar games have received large single-player DLC expansions, including the extremely popular Undead Nightmare expansion for the original Red Dead Redemption and the Liberty City episodes for GTA 4, but like GTA 5, it seems Red Dead Redemption 2 will not be receiving a large single-player expansion, at least for the foreseeable future. Instead, Rockstar will continue to build and expand both games' multiplayer mode. Part of me in my gut tells me I need to go back and finish that story.
Yeah. So you haven't finished the main story in Red Dead?
No, I'm not.
Oh, that's good. It's real good.
I got too busy with having to wash, cut my hair, feed my horse, go to work. You know.
Spoiler alert: you don't have to bathe, shower. It's early in the morning in case
my horse was getting pissed off at me, so I had to feed him and brush him and pet him. There's just so much real life things I had to do that I had too many other real life things I had to go do.
The actual things that mattered.
No, I really need to go and finish that story. I need to do that. This doesn't surprise me at all.
Nope, not at all. I mean, the same thing happened with GTA. They never put out DLC for single player, and people waited and waited and waited.
Mm-hmm.
And here we are 6 years later, still waiting.
Rockstar is, especially with, GTA, is very known for bringing together a very big online community, and for them not to put out DLC for this is just not surprising.
And the thing, as much as I love Rockstar, their community is super toxic. Like the multiplayer is just it's not fun. There are people on there that their main goal is to make whoever's in that server miserable.
Their life a living hell.
Exactly. I've never been a huge fan of any of the online from either GTA or Red Dead, and that's the reason. So I, as a single player kind of guy in that franchise, I am a little disappointed that they've never done any DLC. But like we said, neither of us are surprised that they haven't. So
no, I do see it later on down the road, and I think it'll be a really, really big deal, and I'm sure it'll be loads of fun. But for right now, everything is based on, well, in order to keep your game striving, especially with games as a service nowadays, you have to expand that multiplayer. You have to put, 95% of your resources into that end game and what you're going to do afterwards.
Right. But not necessarily every game has to be a games with a service either. No,
which is why I love Naughty Dog. Because I don't mind playing multiplayer games. I don't mind playing games as a service, where I need a bunch of other people. But I am a gamer who prefers campaign-driven solo-player games. Heavy Rain, Uncharted, Tomb Raider, those type of games. Last of Us, so on and so forth. So no, you're right. They don't have to be, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, and you were hitting on those franchises, and I'm a huge fan of Assassin's Creed. So and they did really well when it came to the single player narrative. They tried online for a little bit, and then they just kind of backed off of it.
It's not their thing.
They didn't implement it that well.
No.
Unity, very very buggy, but it was as an overall, the storytelling has been really good up until the last two. I wasn't a huge fan because because they're implementing new mechanics. Like they're going very RPG based.
They are, yes.
I don't like that.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I put over 200 hours into Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I loved it so much, and they're still making content for it. YouTuber, I can't remember his name. I think it's like Jor Raptor.
Oh yeah, he covers that game a lot.
Every week he's putting out a new video for Assassin's Creed and the new content that is releasing and the updates that they're doing.
Yeah, they keep doing releases a lot. Like it's had 3 or 4, 5.
Mm-hmm. Quite a few. But speaking of Rockstar, Rockstar's Bully 2 fizzled out after 18 months of development. Planned sequel was playable, but never got off the ground, sources claim. From Andy Robinson. See, I can pronounce your name, buddy. You got a nice little white name. That's good.
Whoa.
That's true.
Whoa.
From Video Games Chronicle, Rockstar's New England spent more than a year working on the sequel to 2006 fan favorite Bully on the early part of 2010s, going as far as to create a playable build with basic open world gameplay. VGC understands Rockstar's co-founder Dan Houser and a handful of his most trusted developers wrote a script for the Bully as early as 2008, which contained the first few scenes and an outline of the rest of the story. According to sources with knowledge of the development, the story starred Jimmy, the hero of the first game, and featured many returning characters. It began at Jimmy's stepdad's house in the summer at the end of the school year. The source said, which corroborates anonymous claims reported by Bully YouTuber Swegta, Swegta, Swegta. Sure, buddy. A second well-placed source told VGC that the team never decided where the full story would take Jimmy and that depicting some of his time back in education, perhaps a school or a college, was one of the options being discussed. A few years later, sometime between Red Dead Redemption's release in May of 2010 and the end of 2013, a team at Rockstar New England spent a year and 18 months building out the concept. A second source said. The second source said that the work culminated in a playable version of Destiny 2 described as a very small slice of the game, complete with simplistic open-world gameplay. It was built using the Rockstar advanced game engine Rage, the same engine used for Grand Theft Auto 4 and 5, Max Payne 3, and both Red Dead Redemption games. I never played the first one.
I think I played maybe an hour of it. It wasn't anything I had access. I wasn't into video games at that point in my life. I was 21.
In 2006?
Yeah, I was 21 years old. I was in the Navy. I had no time I was too busy getting drunk to play video games. So 2007 was when I hit my stride, or 2008 when I got back into it. But I never played Bully. I don't really. I mean, I did, but not enough to remember it.
So I never played Bully. I remember.
Why are people excited about that?
Because Bully was a very big game. It sold a lot of copies, and it was a very huge hit. I just remember being 16 at the time, going into a Blockbuster or a movie gallery, and seeing it on the shelf.
For you kids at home that don't remember Blockbuster or movie gallery, you would go exchange currency for the permission to borrow a videotape or PlayStation disc.
Yeah, exactly. And I remember seeing Bully on the shelf, just thinking, "Oh, that must be a game about a rich kid who goes to a school who's a snotty-nosed brat, and he's a big bully, and you just go around and play as a bully all the time." Never took a second look at it, but apparently it's a very super popular game. I need to play it. I want to play it now just to see what all the craze is about. They'll get to it. I think they'll get to it, but they're just so concentrated on Red Dead right now.
Let them focus on what's out,
Mm-hmm.
Not excited. I have no reason to be excited about it. No. But for those that are, I hope your dreams come into fruition. and you will get your Bully 2.
So, despite the initial controversy for the expected violence and homosexual content, Bully received positive reviews with praise directed at the game's missions, narratives, as well as the characters and their development. Criticism was reserved for its presentation and glitches. The original version of Bully sold over 1.5 million copies and received multiple year-end accolades and awards. 2007 Yahoo Games listed it as one of the top 10 most controversial games of all time. What better way to get your name out there than to be controversial? Bully's title and gameplay features inspired controversy among parents and educators who noted that the adult content in previous Rockstar games, including Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, hot coffee minigame controversy, groups such as Bullying Online and Peaceaholics criticized the game for glorifying and trivializing school bullying, although they raised their objections before the game was released to the public. The player may also choose to kiss select girls and boys in the game, which the ESRB was aware of when rating the product. Classification boards generally restricted Bully to a teenage audience. The United States United States-based, the ESRB classified the game with a T rating. The British Board Film Classification gave it a 15 rating at the Australian Classification Board, rating an M for mature, as well as being banned in Brazil. Yeah, so it was a very controversial game, and it was not... for being on the PS2 at the time, it was definitely not a game that was anything else that was around, with the exception of like Grand Theft Auto 3. Yeah, 3 at the time. So
that wasn't even like that violent. I mean, it was, but like it wasn't even anywhere comparable to where it is now.
No, Grand Theft Auto, you could run around and kill grannies. I mean, all you were doing in this was beating up people and calling them gay.
Yeah, I think he had a slingshot too, didn't he?
Probably.
Yeah,
that's what all the bad kids had. It was a little slingshot.
A slingshot and M80 firecrackers.
But speaking of Bully, I wonder if is that it's on PlayStation Now?
Oh, here we go. Yeah, it could be. It could be on PlayStation Now because it's their library, right? So it's like their plus streaming service.
Yeah. I'm gonna double check that right now.
I've never experienced Now.
No, I mean, I experienced it way back when it was a piece of crap and you had to stream all of your games. And then that's why I was so hesitant to get Xbox Game Pass. But then I found out that Xbox Game Pass downloaded their games to the system. And then it was, a year? I could totally be wrong about this, but I'm just going to say a year. That PlayStation finally did the same thing. But now if you get on there, PlayStation will actually allow you to do either or. You can either stream the game to your system or you can download it to your system. It's completely up to you. Okay,
so basically for $70 a month, I can keep $70 or $60 for the year, and then $10 a month. So I'm looking at $180 a year. I can get my PlayStation Plus membership, and then I can get the entire library of all PlayStation 2, 3, and 4 games that are on the service. That's what you're saying.
Yes. And see, I think, my personal opinion, I think that these are really, really good ideas when there's nothing going on and you are just, you need to take a break from whatever game that you're playing the most of so you don't get burnout. You're going through that 3-4 months where there's a dry spell and you don't really want to buy anything because there's not really anything out that you want to buy. Pay $10. You have over 800 games to choose from that you can download to the system.
That's not a bad selection, actually.
And
they just put all the games that I've already bought on there. So it was God of War and Uncharted. Yeah. Uncharted 4.
Speaking of PlayStation Now price drops to $10 a month and adds new games. Sony's streaming service has now slowly improving since it launched in 2014, transforming from a library of older games with ridiculous pricing into a nice selection of old and new games with questionable pricing. Today, Sony cut PlayStation Now's a $20 a month subscription fee in half and added a handful of high-profile games like God of War to boot. Sony's been trying to nail down pricing on PlayStation Now for half a decade. Today's dramatic price drop brings the streaming game service as a close reasonable as it's ever been. Here's how the pricing breakdown goes. So in the U.S., it's going to be $10 a month, $25 quarterly, or $60 a year from the original $19 a month, or $20 a month, $45 quarterly, to $100 a year.
So I can still just pay a yearly fee of $60. That sounds like a winner, and I can actually download these games until they leave the store, right? And then it'll automatically remove it from my system, or
correct, because that's what I was messing around with it yesterday, and then whatever you go, because I think I clicked on, they had a section for just horror games, and I was like, okay, well, you know, that one was kind of cool. I mean, maybe I want to play that one. And when I clicked on that game, it gave me the option of stream or download. Personally, I don't. My internet's not that great to be able to stream it, so I mean, I'll just download it.
I don't think anybody has internet that's good enough to stream like that.
I mean, unless you got FiberWire, I think is what it's called.
Yeah.
But that's not a bad $10 charge from Sony for something you forgot to subscribe to is a lot less shocking than a $20 charge popping up. There's something soothy about single digits. Along with the new pricing plan, Sony is adding a selection of big-name PlayStation 4 games to the service for a limited time, including God of War, Grand Theft Auto 5, Infamous Second Son, and Uncharted 4. These 4 games will be available on service now through January 2020, and more games will be rotated in and out on a regular basis. Sony is excited about the price changes. It's made a minute-long commercial. First, a lot better, now a lot cheaper. Nice moves. PlayStation Now.
Right. Another really quick question about that too. Now, so once I get this game, I download it, right? And I play it, like, and it's only get like it'll never like once it leaves the store, is it ever coming back after that? Or is it like a one and done? Like I only get one shot at this.
They may bring it back later on, but there's no telling when that could be.
Okay. Well, you know, for the $10 a month and you get those 4 AAA titles, like that's good. That's and those are all very, very good games. So that's actually a really good investment.
I mean, let's say you decide that you want to play this, and you're just now thinking about getting into Grand Theft Auto. And you're like, oh, wow, well, I really enjoyed everything that I did during that time from now until January. Let me go out and buy this game now since it's only $20. And all of your saved data will be there. It'll be good to go.
That's really cool.
Are you checking out some of the games now that are on there?
Yeah, I'm actually on the official PlayStation website, just kind of looking through some of the stuff. I think it got a little bit of everything. I saw like the WWE 2018.
Yeah, they got 2018 on there. Now, what's really going to take me over the edge, and like I'm going to subscribe to it, but what for me is going to make this 10 times better is if Sony starts putting their AAA titles on there, their exclusive titles on there, because that's what Xbox does. I don't have to go and buy Gears 5 now, which is one of Xbox's best-selling games of all time, because it's on Game Pass for $10 a month.
Batman or PS Now has all the Batman games.
It does have all the Batman games on there. Yes,
all 4 of them. That's cool.
I own all the Batman games.
Sorry, I just saw that.
Yeah.
That's really awesome. They have a very, very deep selection of everything.
It's over, from what I heard, I believe it's over 800 games.
Yeah, all the God of Wars. This is anybody thinking about this, go ahead and do it, because whether you play 1 game or 10 games, this is a hell of a deal. And that's one. Can you play? Can you have multiple games downloaded?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Yeah, you can download as many as you want to.
That's awesome.
All right. So I have an Xbox. I own 2 games for my Xbox. I own Red Dead Redemption 2 and I own Destiny. But I have 10 games downloaded to my Xbox, and they're all from Game Pass. But yeah, with all the Batman games, you get all the BioShock games. You get all the Blaze Blue games. You get Farming Simulator 15, 17, and 19. You get Fallout 3, 4, New Vegas.
All the Borderlands are on here too.
Yes.
Oh, except for 3. But.
Well, except for the new one. I think, if I'm not mistaken, there's over like 20 Lego games on there if you're into the Lego games.
In a way, like I kind of am, because I'm still a 5-year-old at heart for whatever reason. But the Lego games are pretty fun.
All the Ratchet and Clank games are on there. Like I said, there's over 800 games on here, from Sniper Elite, all the Sniper Elites, to all the Sonic games.
Dead Islands are on here too. Dead Space 3, which is actually not the best one in the series, but if you've never played Dead Space, it's a good one to try out, and then go buy the other 2, I guess. But Dead Space is really Destroy All Humans is on here.
Oh, such a good game. That ending was so hard though.
I can't say enough about this, man. They got everything on here. Why didn't I do this sooner?
Because it was $20 a month.
Oh yeah.
And almost $50 for 3 months, and then $100 for a year.
And then I'd have to stream it.
and then you have to stream it right. But now you can actually download it.
Perfect. Perfect.
So it's something you're going to get, possibly?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
I don't know if I told you this, but so I've made this like so much easier in my household. I've taken all of my subscriptions and put them on my credit card. That way, every month I have that one bill, and it's just subscriptions.
That's that works out really well.
And so anytime I ever want to add something, I know, okay, well, on my credit card bill.
Oh yeah. Smart move there, bud.
All right. So Shawn Layden, head of PlayStation Game Studios, departs from Luke Plunkett. Sony has announced that Shawn Layden, chairman of SIE Worldwide Studios and a mainstays of PlayStation 3's I just said PlayStation 3. PlayStation E3 press conference will be leaving the company. No reason was given for his departure, and a successor has not been named. Formerly president and CEO of Sony Computer Entertainment America, Layden has been with Sony since 1987, serving in roles like vice president of Sony's Computer Entertainment Europe and president of Sony Computer Entertainment Japan. When Sony consolidated its worldwide PlayStation divisions into a single unit in 2018, Layden was no longer president of Sony Interactive Entertainment America, and the company said he instead would concentrate his focus on leading Sony's game development studios. The tweet released from PlayStation goes as follows. It was a great emotion that we announced that Worldwide Studios chairman Shawn Layden will be departing SIE. His visionary leadership will be greatly missed. We wish him a success in the future endeavors, and we are deeply grateful for his years of service. Thanks for everything, Shawn. 2018, he was made chairman of Sony Interactive Entertainment Worldwide Studios under Layden's tenure as chairman. PlayStation released several critically acclaimed games from its first-party worldwide studios, including God of War, Spider-Man, and Horizon Zero Dawn. IGN has reached out for Sony, but has no information about Layden's departure. There's something super fishy about this story.
Think he got killed? This is a cover-up story?
No, my theory is... So I have heard from a lot of different sources that whenever you work at one company and you get a job at a different company, there are instances where, oh, okay, you're working there. No, you can't be out in 2 weeks. You need to be out now. So I'm thinking one or two things. One, he got another job somewhere else that gave him a better position, something he wanted to do with more money. And they were like, okay, cool. Thanks for your service. You need to go ahead and go. We don't need you meddling around in any of our ideas or things that we may, you may see or this, that, or the other. Or Sony was possibly going in a direction, or they were going to do something that he didn't necessarily agree with and decided to leave. Because, it's kind of strange, like 9 times out of 10, when you have somebody leaving a position to go on to do bigger and better things, somebody always has somebody else in mind.
Right. There's always a backup.
And for him not to say anything on his Twitter, and for all them to be able to say, didn't put a press conference out, something's fishy about it. Something's not right.
Right. Is he going to Xbox, you think?
I don't know. There have been a lot of speculations where he was going to Microsoft.
All right.
But it wouldn't surprise me. I'm a Sony guy, and Microsoft's not where they were 10 years ago.
No.
They're way better.
Something fishy.
I don't know. I'm very curious to see. And still no word on what he's doing, where he's going.
And I can guarantee this will be forgotten about in a couple of days,
Yeah, even now, if you still look it up. Yeah, it's been 5 days now, and still no word on where he's at, what he's doing, nothing.
Well, hopefully he's okay.
There was one article from GameDaily.biz that said that Shawn Layden departs Sony amid restructuring confusion and potential power struggle.
Interesting.
In a follow-up with Polygon, Sony said there was no other information at this moment. Yeah, like I said, there's his exit comes at a time of transitional uphill, and not just with the next-gen PS5 looming. There's also the possibility of an internal power struggle, which appears to stem from a corporate restructure back in April of 2018, which is when Sony Interactive Entertainment truly went global. So yeah, like I said, I think there was something going on in the middle of it he didn't agree with, he didn't want to be a part of, and he said, okay, cool, I'm out. Thank you for your time. But it is, and what makes it even all the more fishy is the fact that this does come at a time where the PS5's right around the corner. Mm-hmm. And he's been here helping with this, doing all this since the PS3 and the PS4. And, he was always on stage with...
I'm wondering if he had a lot of input, design input on the PS5. Mm-hmm. And then that's why they haven't released anything about it is because of that internal structure or struggle, and that's why he left. Like there's some like conflict, and then that's also why PS5's been pushed back, or not pushed back, but not. There's no news on it.
I don't know. I think we'll know in a couple weeks. We'll know in a couple weeks where he went. But speaking of the PS5, so there were sources that claimed that that new design is real.
The one with the little divot thing and like.
And I'm so excited.
It looks really neat. It all.
Just you have to think about it from a different standpoint, though. It's super different.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I think it'll be cool. And the only reason that news sources claim that it is a real because there was a patent that was filed for it. So.
Well, that means it's real. Yeah, let me see if I can find this. It almost kind of looks like a building from Mass Effect or something.
I could see it being a building. Yep, so, from Tech Radar, Henry St. Leger, this leaked PS5 patent gives us our best look at our console design yet. The PS5 is still over a year away from release, but as far as we hear more about Sony's console features and specs of PS5 games, it's hard not to get excited even long in advance. The patent in question was registered at Sony Electronic Device on August 13th after applying for the patent back in May of this year, showing a console-shaped device that seems highly unlikely to be anything but the PS5. The patent page we have is through Let's Go Digital, and we haven't found the WIPO listing itself, but we think this is a pretty good authority. The patent is registered through the WIPO World Intellectual Property Office with Sony Technical Director Yoshihiro Otori, that one. Also being listed as the patent as it gets the designer too. Everything we know so far is it will be backwards compatible and even 8K. So basically, I'm excited. It's super cool. I can't wait to wake up in the morning and see that sitting there.
Yeah, it's different. It looks neat, but see, this is a patent. But does a patent come after a final design?
Mm-mm.
Exactly.
Mm-mm.
So
patents come before.
So right. This could be just one patent that they've got out for it, and there could be...
They'll sit there and they'll take 4 and 5 different concepts, and they'll make a patent for each and every one of them. That way, whatever they do, it's already done, and they don't have to worry about anybody ripping them off.
Makes sense.
PS5 could boast a 3D holographic gaming screen with no glasses needed. Yet again, Sony has filed a patent for a 3D holographic display screen, which we may see implemented in the next PS5. The patent was initially applied for back in 2017, but is officially published by the USPTO, which is the United States Patent and Trademark Office, on September 3rd of 2019. So as reported by Dutch site Let's Go Digital, Sony Interactive Entertainment has developed and patented a holographic display screen technology which will allow users to view 3D video games, and movies without needing 3D glasses. Please be real.
That's weird.
That's next gen, baby.
That is next gen.
I mean, and I think it's a really, really good idea, and I hope it works, and I hope it's cool. And the reason that I say that is because we're getting to a point now where everything is just faster processor and better graphics. That's it. Like we need something else. Or
something game breaking,
or you might as well just build a PC and use a PS4 controller, because you can always, there's gonna be new processors and motherboards and RAM and all that stuff coming out every year, so you might as well just upgrade those.
Or they could just make it to where most games aren't locked at 30 frames per second. That would be nice.
There you go. Well, it's not even 30 frames hardly anymore. It's usually like 24.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, and that's what I told myself last year at E3 when E3 was going on. Was last year at E3, I was telling myself that next year's console generation I am excited for, because we've had it for a while and I'm ready for something new. But I am 10 times more excited for the next generation console, because back when PS3, PS4 was around, we didn't have everything that we have now that made all of this stuff. Digital wasn't a real big thing. It was still coming into its grasp when PS4 was coming in.
Digital stuff was more like DLC content.
Right, exactly. But what is that next gen 10 years from now going to bring us? That's what I'm more excited to think about.
Yeah, VR already implemented into it. Mm-hmm. I'm sure.
Yeah, you just put on glasses and go, man.
Yeah, exactly. That would be awesome. Oculus is already doing that with the wireless VR thing. So why not have something similar in the next consoles? Does Xbox even do that? They don't even do VR stuff, do they? Or am I just... Yeah, I didn't think so. So that'd be kind of something that they could grab a hold of and kind of have a little bit more competition against Sony.
The last thing that I heard from Microsoft was that they filed a patent for a virtual reality floor mat.
How the fuck does that work?
It will help users avoid obstacles while wearing a headset. The patent application also suggests that the company hasn't given up entirely on the idea of bringing VR to the Xbox console, but a Microsoft spokesperson did decline to comment. The patent for the application virtual reality floor mat deals with real-world problems that many VR users have experienced firsthand. VR provides full immersion, completely blocking the outside world. That includes walls, coffee tables, shelves, and other objects and players may hit or bump while into the VR. The patent application also describes the possibility of including pressure sensors directly into the mat itself. A virtual reality mat may include a distributed pressure sensors integrated into the mat to detect a physical pressure of force applied to an activity surface on the mat it reads. Such pressure sensors enable the virtual reality system to identify where the user is standing in relation to the mat, without necessarily requiring the user to be visually detected by optical sensors. What's more, that mat could also provide haptic feedback according to the patent application. The floor mat may include one or more vibration devices integrated into the floor mat to generate vibration at the floor mat, and the virtual reality experience may be augmented by generating vibration at the floor mat via at least one vibration device on one or more vibration devices. So would you use this instead of needing a camera?
That's what I was about to ask.
That's what it sounds like. It sounds like you would use this instead of needing a camera.
Oh, they're trying to fix the whole spying thing. No, like, oh yeah, okay, we got it. We got an idea now. This will work.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much what you would do. I mean, that's cool, I guess. I think, my personal opinion, I think that if Microsoft wants to get ahead in VR outside of Facebook and Sony, they're going to need to find a way to make it wireless, because there are too many damn wires when it comes to that damn fucking PlayStation VR.
Oh yeah, it almost
stupid
disconnects you from the whole thing. Like,
right.
It's not even like you have to be very specifically still within the camera's outline of view, and it needs to advance a little bit. Yeah.
So I mean, and that's another thing. I will be picking up the PlayStation VR 2 that will be coming out.
And a smaller headset. I want a smaller headset.
Oh, they have to. They have to, because of the Oculus Go, the Oculus Quest, Oculus Rift. I mean,
yeah, that headset is huge.
No, it's ridiculous. All right, buddy. Anything else you want to add?
One last thing. Marvel's Avengers is coming out in May 2020.
Okay.
Lately, they've been doing character release, like biopics and alternate costumes for the characters and stuff. And right now, New York Comic Con is happening. And a couple days ago,
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I had no idea they were going on.
Yeah. So July is San Diego's, and then October is New York's.
Okay.
Yeah. So you get like a little bit of a double dose. Yeah. Obviously, San Diego's is way bigger and way more potent, but you still get some really cool stuff. One of the really neat things that they're doing now is they just showed off a new character they're putting in the game, and it's Miss Marvel. Not Captain Marvel, completely different character. She's actually only been in the comics.
Glad you said that before I had to ask.
She's actually completely different, like a character. She's only been in there for about 6 years now, inside the Marvel Comics universe. But she's already branded an Avenger, which is really cool.
So what is her role? What does she do?
So she basically, her powers are like she has the ability to shrink and get big and like make her hands bigger. She can stretch. It's like I forget what they call it really. So
it's like Mr. Fantastic.
A little bit, but yeah. So the embiggen ability, that's the giant size for in the game. I just read that, but I'm really excited because it's a character that isn't what everyone's used to. Like you're not like we're getting the original 5, right? Mm-hmm. And then we're getting her too, and it's really cool because it's not something anyone expected. We were all thinking maybe Hawkeye or Spider-Man or something like that, and they completely went off track and did a 180 and went a totally different route, and that really excites me because her plot starts from the very beginning of the game as well. So spoiler alert, but the info's out there, so if you're looking for it, you can find it. So at the A-Day celebration, when the attack happens, the what's it called? The Terrigen. It's actually like a chemical comes up through this grate. She falls down on the grate and it gets exposed to the Terrigen as it's coming out. And that's what gives her powers. And then obviously there's the 5-year time jump. So that gives her time to age and, harness her powers and stuff like that. Because when it happens, she's probably like 12 years old.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So but that is one thing I'm really excited about.
But we're supposed to get more characters as the game goes on, correct?
Right. So they haven't really expressed the time difference between each character release, but I'm thinking there's probably a month or two in between each one, because they probably already got a huge roster already created and alternate costumes and stuff like that they're going to put in. So there's so much information I want to know. Where are there multiple cities that we're going to go to? Or is it all going to be like New York and California, and like out in the woods or out in the mountains somewhere?
Right.
Because that's the 3 places we've seen. So I don't know what extreme this is going to be, like how many locations, how many characters, but I'm so looking forward to this game. This is going to be my game that I'm going to focus on next year.
Do we have a release date for that game?
May 5th of 2020.
Okay.
So
okay,
7
so
months.
Well, I was sitting here thinking you got Last of Us 2 in February, March, April, May, so you have like 3 months in between.
Oh, dude, I'll blast through Last of Us 2 in like a week.
No. You need to slowly play it. Take everything in and grasp
explore
that game for what it is.
It's very linear, so
no, I know. And I mean, by that time, we'll have other Destiny seasons and stuff that we'll be in and doing.
Right. Yeah.
So no. Did you hear the news on? I know they released an article the other day, and I can't remember fully what the article was about. Iron Man VR is.
I did see that.
Supposed to be coming out.
Yeah.
There's a lot more information released on that as well.
Yeah. That there was a little bit of gameplay a few months ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it wasn't anything big, but it's it's a VR game where you're Iron Man. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. Like,
hopefully it'll be longer than Batman.
Yeah. Dude, the Homecoming demo, or not the Homecoming, but the Far From Home demo was longer than the Batman. The graphics were way worse, but I don't know. The HUD's very what you would expect. It looks like an Iron Man HUD. Enemies fly, you fly. I mean, it looks very well crafted, but also very generic.
Well, it will be out in February 28th of 2020. In Iron Man VR, it looks like Tony Stark has some splaining to do when his defense industry clientele rack up a bunch of collateral damage using his weapons that brings in Ghost to do the antagonizing. Ghost is a woman as the character appeared in Ant-Man and the Wasp last year. Oh, I remember her.
She's actually really cool.
So yeah, combat. So I'm excited. I think it'll be fun. I'm gonna play it.
Yeah,
Come over here and play it.
I'll jam out on it. Hopefully there's a demo before then, and kind of.
There was two. There was two for Spider-Man. I don't remember if there was ever one for Batman.
Yeah, I don't remember either. But Batman was really well put together. Just such a short campaign. That's all,
All right, buddy. I think that about wraps it up.
That does.